For the last 2 years of my life, I've been stuck in productivity hell, constantly tweaking my systems and somehow ending up half as productive as I was before. So in this video, I'm showing you the brutal truth of why your productivity system is secretly sabotaging you, and the stupidly simple approach that will make you achieve 98% of your productivity dreams. And to explain this point, I'm going to tell you about the phase of my life where I was stuck in this exact same trap. When I started out on my productivity journey, it was just me, my notes app, and me trying super hard to focus. I got some fair results, but eventually I started thinking that there was something more I could be doing to optimize the system. So pretty much every couple days for the last year, I've been adding something to my system. Maybe that's a new Notion thing or a ChatGPT trick. And every time without fail, I'd end up removing it just a couple days later because I didn't end up even using it. I was obsessing over my systems. And it took me a whole year to realize that I wasn't actually adding anything of value, just managerial overhead and tons of overwhelm. And from this experience, I learned there were two distinct things that were happening. And the first one, it works like this. Whenever I added something new to my productivity OS, it was always something new and flashy that I learned from some random blog post or a YouTube video. I thought it looked cool, so I just slapped it in straight away. The time between seeing the thing in action and me putting it into the system was just so fast that I eventually had to come to the conclusion it was all just the shiny object syndrome, where I tried to chase the new thing because I thought it would 5x my productivity gains or something crazy I cooked up in my head. But in reality, it was just my monkey brain trying to derive importance from something that really isn't so. And the second reason, I think a fair few of you guys are trapped with as well. You might not think of yourself as a procrastinator. Maybe you're good at being focused and reaching that sort of flow state fairly easily and consistently. But if you're like me and you love optimizing the way you do things, then you're probably procrastinating every day without even knowing. You're just productively procrastinating. When I'd sit down to work to try to put a new feature into my workflow or system, I'd get into a bit of a YouTube tutorial binge. Maybe I'd even scream at ChatGPT a few times. But then I'd look at my watch and suddenly 3 hours had passed by without me doing a single task that I'd actually set out to do. And in exchange for what was maybe a 10% productivity boost, I was sacrificing vital hours that could have been spent doing needle-moving work instead. I didn't just ditch productivity altogether. Instead, I reverted to a super simple system that cuts through all the conflicting viewpoints I see online. A system that contains only the stuff that you actually need to achieve 95% of your productivity goals. And the central idea we're gonna build around is this thing called flow. Flow is that feeling you get when time sort of flies and productivity just comes automatically without you having to exert huge amounts of willpower. And moving into this sort of free flow, hyper-productive state comes down to three main tenets. If you work at a time of the day when your energy levels are naturally high, it'll be 1,000 times easier to get into flow than if you're tired and groggy in the afternoon. So simply make a note of your natural energy peaks and troughs and try to time your main work sessions around those. Your brain is ruthlessly efficient at assigning labels and modes of thinking to certain places. If you try to do work in the place you normally scroll social media, your brain has already associated that location with feelings that come with social media, and you'll never be able to focus. So designate one area of the place you live for work. Ideally somewhere with lots of sun and maybe is fairly quiet, and you'll be good. Okay, finally, you have to make sure you're doing a task that is A, challenging enough to achieve this flow state, and B, is actually worth doing. Flow is best triggered when you choose a task that is slightly beyond the skill level you are comfortable with. It's called the challenge skills balance. And if you're spending that precious flow state doing tasks like endlessly optimizing your systems, it's not going to do you any good, is it? And if you simply solve for flow, all the tech and stuff around it won't really matter, because that's where the secret sauce is. The only tech I use right now is a Notion task manager, my Google Calendar to track my events, and ChatGPT. In my experience, you really don't need much more than that. Because if you have those main things dialed in, the 1% gains you get from random productivity apps won't even matter, because you're making real stuff happen. And if you want to make sure you're getting the best bang from your buck from the AI component of this system, without overcomplicating things, I made this video right here that goes over my simple prompting format that will get you most of the way there. Thank you for watching the video. I'll see you next time.